appear to be live. Right? Oh god. And YouTube is actually working as well. That is amazing. So cool. Right. Can you refresh or something? My chat needs to refresh, I think. Doesn't seem to be doing very much. Can I? I don't seem to be. Oh, yep, there it goes. Connecting, something wrong, try reloading, reload. Right. It looks like it's working. Right? I mean, yeah, this is working. Is it just... Right, view docs. So we can bring this chat back up, and hopefully it actually works this time. It says it's connected to Discord and Twitch. I don't think it's connecting to YouTube just yet, but that's okay. Nobody's watching there anyway. It says I'm online though. I mean, I can see myself broadcasting there, so that's a good start, isn't it? Right. So, plan for now is I really want to quickly finish my Twitch profile so that I can get people in there, just without being ashamed of how crap it looks. Which means that we're going to do a little bit of looking at my own channel. So yeah, I'm just going to do a little bit of introduction, and yeah, I don't know, what should I be writing there? We'll find out as we go. So I've been making mods for, what's it been? 3 years? 4 years? We'll probably find out. Because these repositories have been around for forever. My first mods would have been cats. I haven't touched that in 3 years, so I mean, that must have been at least 4 years old. It's Alpha 16. 4 years old. Yeah. Started in 2015, so that's 4.5 years ago now. For almost, for RimWorld, since let's not be too specific here. For over 4 years now. Why am I always find it so difficult to see, like, why am I sharing this with you? Why am I streaming? What is my reason to exist, I guess? So do I need to, like, put that up there? If you look at, I mean, this is Quill 18, this is my, one of my role models, so to speak. Okay. I'm stealing everything, by the way. It's just, I mean, it's better to be stolen good than created half-assed or something, right? It's the... yeah, so he just says he's a streamer, and that's it. I don't need to... I guess I don't need to explain why I'm doing it now. I stream my modding streaming my morning and would love for you to come hang out. Right. And this supports Markdown, so we can add some headers in there. We can add some links to some of my mods, I guess. Forgetting what a link is in Markdown. I think it's this. And then GitHub. Steam community. It's this one. Right, and then this should be Steam Workshop. Right? Does that work? Let's find out. Not exactly fast, are you? Is this working in the background? It is working in the background, and I did it absolutely the wrong way around. Hey. Close. So the actual link part goes in there. Okie dokie. So that should work then, right? Let's have a look. Yeah, that looks alright. Okay. Does work, I suppose. Brilliant. Yeah, that's all the links I need. I don't really particularly need a link to YouTube at this point, I guess, because I'm not sure it's even working correctly. My chat is also still not working correctly, but alright, what else do we need there? This is a link to my mods. We need a link to my Discord. So let's create a new text panel. Right, and we'll make that the link. The Discord for that is... Ooh, good question. It'll be the RimWorld one, and I should be able to get a link for this. Invite people. Yeah, cool. Brilliant. And we can just put that there. I already forgot how that worked. Okay. So this is our own little Discord server for private discussions. That's going to be great. Come say hi. That's not creepy, is it? Right. So again, invite people, and I don't have a fancy link because, well, I'm not fancy and I'm not paying, and other people haven't paid to boost my Discord or something. But it doesn't matter anyway because we're making it pretty. that should be another part. Yeah, awesome. That works. Yeah, I haven't set out the schedule yet. I need to figure out how this goes first. So let's just leave it at that for now, and let's just actually go start telling people about this and see what happens. I am so nervous about this. Right. Let's close that down. We'll look at that later. Right, so we were talking about the RimWorld Discord before. Not entirely sure why I'm supposed to do this. I'm guessing content creators or something. I mean, honestly, I normally never look at all the people playing the game and stuff. But yeah, this is people doing RimWorld streams. Yeah, I guess I should post in here, but the problem with that is that not all that many people are actually watching. So I guess I'll just play dumb for a little bit and pretend I don't know the rules. Don't be rude, blah blah blah. No religion, politics, harassment. Yep. Yep. No self-formation, no answer. Yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna be terrible and ignore that one for a little bit. Okay. Alright, I want this to go right, so let's just quickly write it out before we send it off. Hi everyone. I'm making mods for a while now. No, these people know me, so as many of you know, shoot, no, I've been making mods for a while now. I'm going to try and start streaming some of my modding, fixing issues and creating new things for a live audience. Why not join me? And then we'll just slap a link in there, and that should do the trick. Oh, that is the wrong link. Pum 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 pum. Oh, me. No, I need to be positive about this. This is like selling myself, right? So I need to say like, why not come help me or just hang out? I don't know, people. It's terrible. I told you before, right? I'm terrible at this. It's alright. We're just gonna be assholes and post this in there. Yeah. remove that little bit. Oh, what did I do? This is probably going to get me banned or something, but sorry, Manny. Done. Modding. I guess this is development. Oh god, Manny's actually here. He is going to kick me off. Let's quickly get this shit on Reddit. Submitting a link, right? I guess. So this is. Should I make this a text? I'm terrible at this. I don't even know how this. Alright, let's just do it like that. That works. Hey. Yeah, I'm just giving it a try. Alright. So, I should probably actually start doing some modding then, right? So let's start doing working over some issues. This is boring, but that needs to be done. It's basically the routine maintenance of modding. So let's go to my Kanban board. It's like a nice amalgamation of all of the many mods I have. So it's like a list of all of the mods that are in there, and they each have their own GitHub page and all of the issues individually. It gets a little bit much, so I use this Zoop.io, and that just gets everything together. So I've been away for a while, so I've got quite a few of pull requests waiting for me actually. So I'm just going to try and work through some of those, get those worked out of the way before I start working on some issues. Because the pull requests are people that have actually taken the time to help me out, code stuff for me, implement new suggestions, fix some bugs and stuff. So it's really not cool for me to just let those hang around. And in particular, I'm very curious about this one. It's the fixed UI scaling for my work tab. So for those of you familiar with my work tab, I've had a problem for ages now. Come on. I don't have that many mods loaded, do I? No, it's auto starting. Is this my work tab? Yeah, this is my work tab. I've had this problem where it doesn't respect UI scaling. So I've got these nice vertical labels on there, but if you turn UI scaling on, everything just starts going out of whack. So if you make it anything other than the it's also kind of hard to test if you don't have a big monitor. Right, that works. You keep that. If you make it anything other than the default one, this happens. And I've been unable to fix that. And apparently somebody did a pull request and it's actually super simple. So I'm a little bit annoyed, but at the same time, if it's actually been fixed, I'll be more than pleased about that. I've been told there's actually chat happening, which is incredible. Let me have a look and see if I can find why I can't see that. chat window is trying to connect. It's saying loads of things are going wrong. Promising start. Alright, that's on hold. Fair enough. That wasn't actually properly set up anyway. I guess I'll just use the Twitch thing. I mean, that ought to work. No? I'm in chat. Yay! I should go to my own creator dashboard. I'm so sorry about all of this, people. I've been trying to figure out this whole streaming thing this afternoon. It's let's just say it's a lot more complicated than it actually looks. You just think like, okay, you slap a camera on and you get started with it. There's a lot of other stuff going on around it. Anyway, we're in the chat. And there's actually quite a few people here now. Cool. Hi everybody. Hi Adelf and Manny I see, and Musket again, who I think by now is a bot, but I don't know. Moronic Zero, Goblin Punch, Eloy again, welcome back dude. Bruce, another TV viewer again, and Adi too. Welcome everyone. It's so nice to have you guys here. Let's see if we can make this fun. Oh gosh. It is super weird knowing that people are watching what you're doing. Let me get that out of the way. I'll try and answer your questions. I'm using OBS Studio, so like the old school OBS. I looked at, you've got the Streamlabs OBS now and Twitch Studio or something. And basically from what I should have gone for either of those two because they're just easier to set up and then they're more streamlined. But like OBS is the original and has more options and more things you can fiddle with. I like to fiddle with things, so I went for that one, which was not a smart idea, to be honest, because I mean it just took me all day to even get a basic working setup going. But yeah, I'm happy with it for now. I mean, it seems to work, so that should do it. Anyway, so back to the UI scaling. That is not working there. But we have had a pull request that should have fixed that one. So let's have a look. So yeah, apparently it's just as simple as just reordering the matrix map. Yeah, sure. And this is, yeah. So what is he doing? He's storing the old one, he's setting it to an identity matrix, then he's applying rotation, and then he's applying the old transformation again, right? Whereas I was just rotating back and forth. He's drawing the widgets and stuff, that's all the same, and just restore the original scaling matrix. Is it really that simple? I mean, it must be really that simple, right? Alright. Let's open up Visual Studio. Have a look. Okay, it's my Visual Studio environment. I'm technically a student, so I have a free copy of ReSharper, which is nice, offers some nice features. It's not entirely necessary if you don't need it, but yeah, I like it. So let's check that pull request out. You should be able to do it like this. I've never really worked with the workflow in Visual Studio, but this is supposed to work. I should be able to like check look at it and then like immediately just check it out. I think. But apparently not. Because that's grayed out. Why is that grayed out? Good. Brilliant. That's because I've been working on it in the meantime, isn't it? I can't auto pull this. No, that's no conflict. Alright. Let's just do this. Oh, I'm so terrible at this. Let's just accept it and then we can work from there. That's the easy way to go about this, I guess. Yeah, I think I have my ReSharper configured. I tweaked a little. I like a little bit more spaces. So, like, actually, if I do it now, this should. Can I not edit in there? It doesn't allow me to do that in Visual Studio. I generally speaking like a little bit more spacing in my my layout. So yeah, this is how it auto lays it out now, and it should also do it on commits or saves and stuff. Not entirely sure how I've got it set up at the moment, to be honest. But yeah, let's just squash and merge that. It's small enough that I can easily just revert it manually if it needed. Alright, we should be able to just pull that in. The Theme Explorer, sync it, pull. Don't save that shit. Alright. Is he actually working on it? No, I'm on master right now, and this is my old. Yeah, that's my old test branch. I don't need that anymore. This is the one I'm looking at. And the file we're looking at is label utilities. So that's going to be in utilities, label utilities, and then that should have changed. Yeah. All right. I just built that. I've got like a workflow script for my modding that actually I can build it, and then it does a bunch of things like updates the about.xml, so the file that RimWorld actually reads to show you the mod description, and updates a README file, builds it again, and then just puts it in the RimWorld folder for me to test. And the same script also handles all of my uploads, so I can actually just press one button or do one command and upload everything to Steam, GitHub, update the forum post on the RimWorld forums and everything together in one go. So that's really quite nice. We can go over that at some point, but let's see if this actually if this did anything. it's still working on default mode. That's good. And that way it's also working. I'll be damned. He's actually properly figured it out. Yeah, I still have that bug in there. I was working on the freezing the first column, and that's somehow messed up. It properly messed up the setting and resetting priorities for whole rows and columns at the same time. Especially rows is the problem, because it does that row and everything above it. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. I need to look at that. It shouldn't be too hard, theoretically, maybe, hopefully. But that works. That's amazing. We should seriously thank the dude for that. Much I've been staring at that for ages. That's just brilliant. Beautiful. Okay. Sorry, I'm distracted because I'm looking at how many people and who are in my chat. So it's still the same people, I think. It's yeah, I know, Goblin. It's terrible. This is one of the reasons why I'm streaming it now. Because I've been basically away from keyboard since October, November or something. So I'm just catching up with pull requests now. I did a bunch of simple ones yesterday, and I'm doing the more complicated ones today. That's the idea, anyway. But yeah, and one of the reasons I'm streaming it is to I want to do it like an hour every night or 2 hours some days in the night, and I also want to stream it just to have a little bit more of a reason to actually do it and then get there, and hopefully this is it's going to turn out to be fun, and it's going to turn out to be a nice interaction with you guys, but we'll see. I have to find out. But yeah, I have been busy. I spent yesterday morning pretty much on answering like ancient questions on Steam. So there's like whole lists of me replying to questions from the last 2 months or something for all of my mods, which was fun. But yeah, I mean, it needs to be done. I feel a little bit bad about just upping and disappearing, but yeah, I'll look at that later. Let's get out of there. We were going to look at so we have to look at the label column, which should be in the main tab window, I think. Yeah, no, toggle buttons, so it should be in the do window. Oh, and it's actually just calling the base, so it's going from the table, the pawn table, which is that one. So why is that not working? I remember I'm heavily overriding this. That's just extensions. How many patches pawn table? Here we go. Yeah, so this is the one where I'm actually just racking the original one and replacing it with my own, which is not great, because it's also ruining any compatibility that we might have with what's the other mod called? Pawn rules or something? I forget. I've had a couple of requests for compatibility with that, and it's just, yeah, we both need to implement it, and our schedules haven't really matched up so far, so it's not happened. But it's also, yeah, I'm just replacing the whole tab, which is normally not something I'd like to do. but in this case it was just easier. Or not even the whole tab, but just replacing the whole draw function. Right. So the problem is that the label we draw is somehow, at least this is what I think is the problem, the label or the button we use is getting taller. So instead of just moving the button, it's only moving the like the lower limit of the button. That's what I think is happening. So we should be able to fix that fairly easily. So yeah, this is the label view rect, out rect. So this is the scrolling container for the labels. I'm not sure, Adolf. I'm not sure. Can you ping me again or something, or write me about it? I think I got it. I think I made a note of it as a GitHub issue, but I'm not entirely sure. I vaguely recall you pointing some issue out to me, but yeah, sorry. Right, so we're looking at the this is the yeah, just scroll it. And then this is actually the label column, and this is where we're doing the header. That's fine. That's never moving, so that's frozen both vertically and horizontally, basically. Then this is moving horizontally. Yeah. I was going to make a toggle for that room, Erdolf. So Erdolf was asking about the a project mod manager that I've been working on as well, and when you reset it, it resets the entire mod list and doesn't add mod manager back. So I was just going to make that a setting, so if you want to add it itself back to the mod list that you've got loaded. But yeah, thank you for reminding me about that one. Right, so this is just a header. These are the headers for the rest of the columns that only scrolls horizontally, because again that's like the frozen first row. Then we've got the vertically scrolling bit for the label. So this is what we're looking at. This is where something probably went wrong. Probably in this logic somewhere. Am I doing that right now? So this is the label rect, this is the label out rect at 0. Why is that? Oh gosh, this is always fun, figuring out scroll views. Because there are out rects and view rects. And like the scroll, the reference to scroll position, that's easy. That's just the position where you are at your scroll tab, and that just keeps it so that on the next frame refresh it's still in the same position. Otherwise your scroll view would always just reset to 0. So that's fine. That sure. And you've got the out rect, which I always get confused, because one of them is like the viewport, and the other one is basically the size of the content that you want to put in that viewport. And I think, if I remember correctly, the out rect is actually the viewport and the view rect is actually the content in there. And if you ask me why the names are so stupid, that's just what they're called in the game. So let's just work on that assumption, which means that we've got a giant label rect here. Why is it so big? Is that the problem? Because I'm just setting it at 0. I'm just using the entire... Am I drawing in that? Yeah, I'm using the label rect here to actually do the cell. Why is that? This sounds like it's way too big. Am I missing something here? Is this a loop already over the rows or something? It isn't, is it? No, this is the entire thing. Okay. So where does this come from? Where does that come from? Yeah, so that's just where in the tab are you. So that's just our overall position. That's fine. That should be there. The label header is it's fine. It's not a problem. This is the header height. That's fine. Label header width is fine. Yeah, it's starting at the left side, and it's starting from the top plus the header height. So that's also fine. Then we've got cached size minus cached header height. Yeah, that's also fine. So that's the out rect, and then the view rect is it's starting at 0 because it's just the size of the output, or the thing that the canvas that you're using. And then we go to cached height, no scroll bar. Yeah, that looks fine. This doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem like it's correct. This shouldn't be the entire fucking out rect. So what is this saying? This is saying that if our height so either we don't have to scroll at all, so the content is smaller than the available area, and we don't have to scroll at all, so we show this. Otherwise, this is working. I don't need to really bother with this, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the problem here is just that but why is it drawing it in the right position? Because I'm upping it here. Right. Right. I think all I need to do is just set the height here. That's all I... and that is, I don't know. What is this? Shade row height? I guess I need to set it here then. Yeah, let's start here. No, can't do it there because I'm assuming then that there is somebody in it. We can never assume that. So we need to set the label height here. Label rect height equals int. We're using integers because if you use floats, they are actually floats, I think, usually. But if you use floats, then you get sub-pixel positions, which means that text can get blurry, which is not great. So we're just going to set it to the cached row height, which I guess is what I'm looking for. So we might now have a row that is technically 1 pixel larger or smaller or higher or taller or whatever than the other ones. Nobody's going to notice that. Well, maybe you guys are now that I told you, but normally nobody would. We really shouldn't have a null ref there, but let's just give it a default anyway. And that's not working because you can't use that for ints. Yep. What could you possibly be in NORAF? Yeah, you could be, I guess. You know what? It's just not going to be. This is terrible coding practice. Let's just see if this works and then we'll figure out the rest. Right, so that's rebuild it, moved all of the files over to RimWorld. We just need to restart RimWorld. Hugslib is beautiful for that. It's not, by default it's not set up, but there's a keybind that you can set up to restart the game. And then there's also like the quick starting thing where you can load directly into a game, which is beautiful for testing things. Right. Beautiful. That should have fixed that. Thanks, Adolf. Oh gosh. One of the problems with making mods and testing them is at some point you just don't know how to test them anymore. So I actually released the code that I showed before where like all of the rows would go together because I didn't test it enough, which is terrible. But I mean, it's also, how are you going to test all of this shit every time? You can't do automated testing or something, so. Yeah, Goblin, I have plans actually. I have lots of plans. I have during the time off, I've also been looking at a few new projects that I was hoping to do. So I've got a few like half-finished projects, things that are somewhat completed but not quite there. Well, I guess this is no rush. So let's. I can show you some stuff quickly. It's, I've also been playing games. This is one of those things. So I've been, you know that I have the in-game mod manager, but I figured it's a pretty good idea to also have a mod manager that doesn't depend on you starting the game first. Right, makes sense, right? So this is written in doesn't matter. This is written in I know this Electron, which is basically like a local runtime for JavaScript. So it allows you to create a web page with all of the backing JavaScript, the server-side scripts, etc. in one single app that you can just download. And it's got a lot of handy, nice integrations. It automatically handles like new versions and stuff, and you can just do that through a GitHub repository. It's amazing. It's cool. And the other thing is that you don't have to bother with like proper user interfaces. So I don't have to learn how the C# UI system works, which is, I tried that. I couldn't get through to it. I know a little bit how to do HTML, JavaScript, CSS, stuff like that, because I've been making some websites in the past, and also my day job, I have to do a little bit of that sometimes. So yeah, and yeah, I mean, it looks prettier. It's also a lot easier to do if you have a basic knowledge of web programming. So that's what I've been working on. It's basically like the basic stuff works. You can add mods, move them. You can start the game from here. You can continue directly with it from a save game. With another little mini mod I made that allows you to start the game and immediately load into a save game. So it's basically the same idea as the Hugslib one. It's just, yeah, it uses a command line parameter. Yeah, so that's one thing I've been working on, and I wanted, I'm not actually sure what I called that one, but I had another project, oh yeah, the power cleaner. So yeah, So you can set up your mod list. You just click the play button. It loads that mod list. It keeps the mod list updated with whatever changes you make, real time, and you can just click play and then go. It's now loading into a save game because I still had that set up in Huxlab, so that's not normal. But what I wanted to show you was the power cleaner. I haven't actually finished setting that up correctly, but I should be able to spawn one in. That's some kind of translation error. Not very important. Alright, so you put it on, and you draft somebody, and then you can clean. So it's it has some issues with speed. It works better on low speeds, but you can just spray things and then it cleans it up. And if you hit somebody with it, then it makes them soaking wet. Yeah, so I was working on that, and I mean, there's lots of other things you can do with it. I mean, the obvious thing that springs to mind immediately is a flamethrower, because it's the basic same principle, just fire, which would be awesome. But yeah, I needed to fine tune it, and then I kind of just lost interest because the flamethrower was going to be too big. It was like, okay, but then I have a flamethrower, but do I want, like, you kind of want raiders to use that as well or something, and then you have to think about, okay, how are raiders going to use that, because it's completely different. I took lots of shortcuts because I'm not good at, like, Palm AI and stuff like that. Yeah, acid thrower, sure, why not? I mean, any kind of liquids or just things that you could spray around. There was talk of a fire extinguisher as well. That would be easier to do. But yeah, then you have to think about how is Palm AI going to handle this, and because I set it up from the start as like this hacked-in thing that doesn't really properly use like attack mechanics and stuff, so it's like a hacked designator attack kind of mixture thing, weirdish, that works, but only if the player directly interacts with it. So I mean, it's still cool, but I just never released it or did anything more with it. Another project that sort of half worked, which is the spatial priorities, if I can find it in here. Apparently not. I guess I don't even have that one correctly started up now. The idea for that was that you could... oh, what's up, Smashville? Nice to see you here. The idea for that one is that you could assign priority zones, basically. So it's yeah, yeah. Adolf, I'll get back to that in a second. You could assign priority zones. So if you know oxygen not included, they have this system where you can assign priorities to, yeah, just grids or whatever, and then your pawns, or what are they called in that game? I forget. Colonists, people, disposable organ bags, would do jobs in that zone first. So I got that to work basically, but again, kind of destructively, because it's things like prison labor and a couple of other mods that we're working also with like custom job systems, like giving jobs to pawns that are not meant to have jobs. They also relied on modifying the same functions, so they kind of got completely broken. And there was this really weird issue that for some reason all farm fields like got quantum entangled or something, and that was just at a point in time when I ran out of yeah, Oni is awesome, Oxygen not included, it's a great game. But anyway, that's just at a point in time where I also had a busy period at work and some personal issues coming up, and then I just dropped that and then didn't have time to really go on with it. So I've mostly been updating my existing mods, fixing some minor issues here and there, adding some minor things. I took some time to add the egg timer to Animal Tap yesterday, which is what we were looking at before. And yeah, Adolf, I've had issues with AdBees, or I always thought it was ADB, but that's because I'm Dutch. I think it's like A de B, but it's AdB, I've been told. Like from the earliest beginnings, I was doing UI things, and he was just overriding the entire damn user interface. So you kind of had to make two versions of the mod, because he rewrote the entire user interface, which was a mammoth project, and he did a pretty good job. But it was just very hard to actually like hook into that again and actually get an entry point. And even when that worked, it's like you're completely dependent on that. So I never really liked it. I haven't looked at Prepare Carefully in detail. I've seen some of his UI code, and he's doing things that in ways that I don't understand. Like he assigns all of the rectangles that the UI is made up of, like as statics and stuff. It's like, I mean, I'm sure there's a good reason to do that if you're counting bits, but who does that? And it seems like a horrible nightmare to maintain. But I mean, the end result looks good. And there's also the long-standing issue with my work tab where Prepare Carefully creates phantom pawns when you play with them, or when you like modify them, or when you randomly assign them. And because he calls like the functions that make them get their priorities, my work tab assigns like a priority database for them, but then he never actually gets rid of these pawns. So they never added to the game, but they're also never properly deleted. So my work tab tries to store them, and then they're not in the game, and it just spits out a bunch of errors, and it's just nasty. Anyway, animal tab. I was working on an egg timer, so there's this is like the pregnancy column. Normal animals can get a pregnancy icon, and now chickens or other eggy animals get like an egg timer. And I was playing around with actually making it fill up the egg. So it's a little bit hard to see now because they're all about the same progress, but this white bar actually fills in from the bottom to the top, which I thought was a kind of a cool touch. And then if they're not fertilized, they remain a little bit grayer. Which is, I just thought that's fun. Again, this is not something I did. This is in response to a pull request. The pull request just put like a label there with a percentage of, okay, the egg is so many % done. And I figured like, okay, I can use an icon for that. Where possible, I like to use icons. I think they keep everything a lot cleaner than just using labels for everything. Anyway, let's commit this, and I had a couple of bug reports about that one. Yeah, that's 123. That should be fixed by this one. You can see I haven't done this in ages. So we're looking at changes, commit, fix label button size, resolves 123. You can push that, and then because for some reason Visual Studio doesn't actually have an integrated terminal, I'm still not sure why. Can't use that. What we can do is just go back into my trusty Visual Studio Code and release them all. The best games are spreadsheets, yeah. I love Dwarf Fortress. I've had some trouble getting into it again. I used to play it 5-6 years ago, quite a bit. But recently I'm just having trouble getting enough time to properly get into it. Because, I mean, once you know all of the key bindings and stuff, then it plays like a dream and it's just a beautiful game. But if you have to think about it every time and look it up, then it's really hard to get into that flow. But it's otherwise a beautiful game. I've also actually been playing Rule the Waves 2, which is it's also a spreadsheet simulator. It's kind of like Aurora 4X, but with World War II fleets and stuff. It's kind of cool. It's worth looking into. Anyway, are you guys looking at this? I still think this is magical. I spent so much time doing this, but it saved me so much time as well. So F flag is just to force it committing things to Git if it's necessary. It doesn't look like it's necessary this time. It creates a commit with a specific release number on it. It updates all of the description files, everything that's necessary. It moves it into WorkTab. It creates a release archive, so a zip file with everything in it. It uploads it to Steam. Steam release completed. It uploads it to a GitHub release. It's completed. Then it uploads the archive so people can actually download it, and then it changes the it updates my front page on the Ludion forums as well. So now this has fixed UI scaling and fixed label size, button size. And over here it's created a new release just now with a nice change note on it, everything in it as well. I just love that. That is just this is still one of my proudest moments. Alright. Next. Looks like we have the same problem in research tree. Yeah, I was aware of that one. Ooh, that reminds me. I really need to make a proud post about this and give this dude some credit. So let's start with the comments. Yo and behold, the UI scaling bug has been fixed. Praise Silver Side. I guess this is enough over the top, right? Beautiful. Okay, and we actually need to give him credit. So the release script works with a little JSON file that just keeps track of everything that's going on. If I can find it, that would be amazing. There we go. This is JSON. So whenever a new thing is a new contributor appears on the GitHub repo, it adds it to this list, and I can also just add things manually. Then it adds it here, and it should also add the change notes, but that's not working, and I haven't had time to fix it yet. But I mean, this is a good start. So this will just add them to the list of contributors in the discussion or the description of the mod. Yeah, so he'll just appear there and properly have the thing. Anyway, I also need to look in my description itself because this has now been fixed. So I can just say none. Beautiful. Let's just do this on Steam only. So what was the option for that? I'll just release it again on Steam, just to update all of that. And I don't need it to do GitHub or the forum for that one. It's fine, and also no version bump. Yeah. And this is why you need the Viva, or the F flag. So it's not updating the manifest. The manifest is the extra information I use for Mod Manager. It's like the version information and stuff like that. Alright. So do you guys want to work on some pull requests or some issues? Because I've also got a lot of issues. outstanding that I haven't looked at. Well, let's just quickly do this one at least. That should be. Roll a d20. I should set that up actually. Have because they all have their own issue number in here. Just have like a random roll. Yeah, I agree. We should keep going through the pull requests. It's terrible that I've been letting them go since October. There's lots of people that have been making translations and stuff, which I've done yesterday. It's like all this stuff. But yeah, I feel bad. There's people that actually been very helpful and donated their time, their code, and their language skills. And I've just not responded to them and then not done anything with it. So yeah. Anyway. That has not been confirmed, right? Why is it giving me that again? But yeah, it's been merged. So let's some research. Let's pull that in. Update it. Add it to the games. Get rid of this other stuff. We don't need it right now. Well, I do want mod manager there. And start a new game. Right, research tree. It goes nice and quick on a vanilla game. It takes forever for people who have lots of mods. Yeah, and that's still a mod thing as well. It actually scrolls. I set it up to use WASD scrolling, but that the inputs for that are not captured by the screen, so it just scrolls in the background as well, which I had some problems with. But what the problem was here is that these labels move once you set up UI scale. So same problem as with the work screen. And that's been fixed. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Alright. We can do the same thing here. Give the dude the credits he deserves. Vertical texts. I don't think I even described this as a problem here, to be honest. Non-issues. Oh yeah. Alright, so that has now been fixed. There's still lots of other problems with the research tree. Yeah, you call it silly, Goblin. I call it horrendous. I spent so much time fiddling around with it. I tried all different types of permutations of the like transforming the matrix, and I mean I'm terrible at like linear algebra to begin with, which is matrix math. And then these like the UI uses these quaternions, which is like a four-dimensional matrix. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around how it works and how it interacts. So it's very hard for me to actually get an idea of what is actually happening. So you just try different permutations. You just like do it in different orders. At some point I thought like, okay, I figured out what the offset is. Like I've just figured out, okay, maybe I just need to add 200 pixels everywhere and then move them to the left and down and then that's it. And it's like, no, it's not, because when you resize the window, the margin gets bigger or smaller. So then you think like, okay, well maybe it's just a proportion of like the size of the window, which is probably true, but then you run into the problem that you have like a baseline thing. So that would probably have worked if like it started in the bottom left corner or in any of the corners. So you start from 0. But that wasn't the case, because the tab doesn't start from 0. It starts from slightly to the right, and this has a slight margin. So you need to work that into there. And then, I couldn't figure it out. So I put a call for help out on that, basically. And I got it, and then ignored it again. So, sorry. But yeah, I'm just so happy that's finally been fixed. And at some point I might even try and wrap my head around why that's actually worked and how that's been fixed. But for now, I'm just happy it worked at all. Okay, let's release that one as well. That probably needs to be pushed. Yeah, there we go. Ooh. Here. I haven't worked in it in so long that I actually need to give my password again. Right, that should work. It's pushed. It's taking a while. Normally the building is the long part. There we go. Next. I think we can get rid of these. Yeah. Hey, weren't you? Yeah, that's been closed. I was gonna say. Okay. We've got a bunch of features for Colony Manager, and these have been added by different people, if I remember correctly. So I'm just hoping they're not going to conflict with each other, because they're also all about training and restricting animals, so they're touching the same files, and if they haven't used each other, yeah, I don't even know what a Copenhagen interpretation is. I have here. This is this was my my first help. That's the Calculus Bible, and then they made me go through. Where is the damn thing? I think I gave it away. But yeah, linear algebra, which is like for 2 extra credits or something. So it was like way too. I got not nearly enough credits for the amount of work that actually was. But hey, I wanted to do statistics, so yeah, the mathematical foundations of statistics. So much fun. So much fun. Never use it again anymore. Don't tell me you actually know this. What is this? Have I got like the highest educated Twitch audience in what the hell? I knew you were smart, but seriously? Yeah. It's not just that the features themselves conflict with each other, it's also just that they're targeting the same file, which tends to give Git like hiccups. But let's just find out. We'll just work from the top and see what's going on. So this is the oldest one. We'll just start from there. Yeah. Alright, so I had So I made some comments on this before. Let's have a look. Wow. Mathematics, physics, and computer science. Jesus. And now you're modding RimWorld? If you got nothing better to do, what? I shouldn't complain. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. I do too. Um, I studied. I started European Studies, which is kind of a hobby project. It was my bachelor, and then I figured I'm never actually going to get a job in that, so I did a research master in statistics and methodology, which was yeah, it was a shock for me because I actually had to do stuff, and it was actually a lot harder, and yeah. And I'm now doing. I'm in the last year of my PhD for that, which is part of the reason why I've had so little time, together with some personal stuff. So. Yeah, you did tell me about that. It's kind of amazing. Um, yeah, I just don't know what to say about that. I mean, you seem way overqualified, but anyway, I should try to focus on this a little bit. Um, let's start by apologizing for taking so long. Taking. Apologize for. Let's just look at what he's been doing. So he's done that, he's moved that, yeah, we agreed with that. Um, yeah, unless unassigned is ticked, so that's fine, that's what we said. This seems very simple. This is really it. Yeah, this is all comments. Um, so he removed the check where it hasn't been trained yet. Um, yeah, because. But wouldn't that allow it to assign with things that have been trained? I guess can assign to train would check for that, right? Um, yeah, so Goblin says he doesn't know anything about C Sharp, goes over my head, I'm nodding in agreement. I actually like C Sharp, and this is a little bit hard to read because it's just snippets of the code in like the git diff, so the difference between what it was and what it is now. But C Sharp is actually a really expressive language, which means that a lot of the time you're typing a lot. It's very verbose, but it's also very clear what you're actually doing, which yeah I like a lot. If you compare that to some other languages, the C languages, for instance, they're a lot harder for me to follow along. It's still possible, but it's harder. I was going to open the project. That's not what I wanted. Um, Surely I must have had this open recently. Yeah, quality manager. Let's have a look. Yeah, and yeah, the Alien Race framework is I've not looked at it in detail, but from what I've seen of it, it's a pretty damn good achievement, and I love that you're basically iterating over all of the code and then just rewriting the bits that you need. So you're doing patches dynamically, which is just something that never ceases to amaze me. Um, yeah, I mean it does make for longer load times. Don't get me wrong, but it's still pretty damn cool. I mean, I have trouble like patching one method. I mean, I can override it. That's easy. But actually just going into it and selectively changing something, I've done it with one or two small things now, I think, and that's like that takes me a while. That's really. But yeah, doing that to half the game and actually making it work and allowing. I mean, it's a huge part of the game now. There's lots of race mods and a lot of people are playing with them, and it's like almost vanilla, but it's not. It's yeah, good to remember that sometimes. There really are some amazing modders in the scene. You, Brains with Harmony? Come on. That's, I mean, that single-handedly, I mean, that started with RimWorld. That started with, like the community, what was it called? The community modding pack or something? I forgot what it was called. That had like, we always wanted to do this a little bit. Also, again, because of the stuff that ADB did with the user interface, because we wanted a better way to get hooks to attach code to take over from vanilla stuff. And so we were looking around for that, and there was some code in. Somebody did like detours in this the city skylines modding scene, which is remarkably also what's this a Unity game. So it actually shared a lot of the same code. So I pestered. I kind of figured out that okay, we should be able to also use this because it's almost the same. But I don't actually know anything about like the underlying intermediate language and trampolining and whatever the fuck the complicated stuff is. So I just pestered E, which is who hasn't been around for a while, but he was like one of the granddaddy modders back then, to look at that and try to implement it until he actually did, and then we had the detours, which was like the initial kind of revolution for RimWorld modding, and then Brains just took it to an entirely new level with the Harmony library, and that's now actually, I mean, so many games are using that to even open it up to mods, like games that shouldn't be, don't have any modding capability, have it because of the Harmony library, which is kind of amazing to think about. But yeah, that's another overqualified modder, by the way. I think he's like a police department IT head or something in Sweden, I think. Yeah, I mean the detours worked in the end. I think we had them pretty well sorted out. There was a couple of different versions for different processor architecture, but yeah, they did depend on that because we were basically just directly editing the machine code, and Harmony's just done so much more. I don't even begin to understand. I mean, I can understand in like in the principle, in the idea of what's happening, that you're in inserting jumps into the function, and then you're just moving it over to whatever. The basic idea I understand, but how that actually works in detail, and then how he's made that work so that it not only works for Mono but also for .NET is pretty damn impressive. Yeah. You guys are also working on like a Harmony 2.0, right? Or is that completed now yet? Is that out? Or I saw I think some pre-releases for it, but yeah, I can imagine, and especially the way it's blown up. I mean, this is not just a RimWorld hobby project anymore. This is something that's actually used in well, like I said, lots of modding, but also actual real programmers using it for I think certain debugging purposes and stuff like that. Yeah, I still think it's really cool that like a proper open source project can arise from something like that. But yeah. Your working directory has uncommitted changes. Okay. Well, at least that's helpful. Oh yeah. I was just playing around with that. Stash that. Now? Could you possibly tell me what those changes are? Or are you just not refreshing? Uncommitted changes. There are no unstaged changes. There are no changes at all. Yeah. I mean, this is nothing. Why are you being so annoying about it? I don't understand how this is supposed to work. There we go. This whole doing the git flow properly, I tend to just sorry, I got distracted by chat there. Yeah. Sorry about that. I tend to just accept the pull requests and then deal with them. The whole branching and then merging it back is still I'm trying to do it, but you can really see that I'm not a trained IT professional. Academic, which just translates into horrible code most of the time. Right. Yeah, that I agree with. So this checks if the animal hasn't learned that. So let's just quickly check that that is still happening, because I'm not 100% sure. Can't do that. Well, that's annoying. This is in Manage Adobe Livestock. was this? This is line 407. Yeah, so this is a new version. Just quickly check what this is actually checking for. Yeah, so it is trainable. But it's not untrainable. And that it is trainable. Yeah, this doesn't check if it's actually been trained yet. I think it should. I really think it should. People treat your code as gospel way too often for me to do that. You're talking about the pull request. Because if you are, yes, I would accept it and not even look at it. Just push it straight to Steam. Yeah. There's only a couple of people I would trust completely. It's basically you, Brains, E if he ever came back, maybe Scully. Yeah. So this is checking if it can be assigned to the training. That's fine. I recently learned that I don't have to do that. I can do it like that. No? Like this. Cool. Yeah, it's never used. I know, but I have to declare it. Assign training unless unassigned was ticked. So if get wanted, it's not the same as training. Yeah, okay, I think that handles it, doesn't it? Yeah, and either it's set to be trained or it's set to be not be trained. Yeah, that handles both cases, I think. So that should work. Alright. That's the manager job, and the manager tab should be simple because that's just a question of yeah. I don't know if it complains about that. Remove redundant var keyword. It does that. Okay. So then I don't even have to declare it. Okay, I didn't know about that. That's cool. Is it? Did I declare that somewhere else? No, right? No, that's just like a magic thing then? Interesting. Manager tab changes. What I was looking at. That should be fairly straightforward. That's just adding in a toggle, bumping the height. Yeah, declaring direct. I'm going to assume that he's done that properly. That should be fairly simple. Yeah, yeah, that looks fine. Let's just have a look at that. And then there's one more thing, which is actually storing it. It's a training tracker, yeah, that's been assigned and that's been scribed. Shouldn't be too much else about that. It's fairly straightforward. Alright, let's give it a look and see if that works. basically magic to me, right? But okay. Hmm. Another thing learned. That's exactly the kind of thing I was hoping for here as well. Just the interaction and learning some new things and getting some feedback as well. I mean, it's. I was reading some other people who stream, so game streamers and stuff, and see what they say, which is interesting to an extent. But there, the assumption is really that you're doing it to get massive amounts of views and like make a living out of it, which is I have no illusions about. But there's also people who coding and stream that, and they described it as like a massive multiplayer body coding session or simultaneous coding session or something, which sounded hectic but also quite fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this more often and yeah, really get a nice group of people to look at things together with and yeah, play around with, to be honest. Get some suggestions, maybe teach people something. Does he? Okay. I I don't know about that one. I'm familiar with very few coding streams, to be honest. I've watched a few now because I was looking for it. Yeah, I've seen Brain stream a little bit, and also not very much. Um, I should really tune into that, or at least follow it. I mean, I'm a streamer now, right? So we need to support each other and stuff. No, I was talking about Quill 18. He's like a game streamer, but he used to be in game dev, and now he's doing some hobby projects and like tutorials and whatever. And he's earning his money with game streaming, but he still does some programming streams sometimes. So I follow along with those sometimes because yeah, it's low level entry stuff basically. I've never actually watched proper, so to say, dev stream on like a real thing until today and yesterday when I was researching a little bit. Um, yeah, it's very interesting. It's cool to see other people in their flow. But yeah, did ya? Okay, I need to follow you too then. I guess I'm very interested in seeing how you code and how much faster you are. Right. Um, let's get this finished and wrapped up. This was Colony Manager, which isn't loaded here yet. Let's just add that in. So 4,000, no, 3,500 Patreon members. Wow, yeah, that's a living. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, is that all he does? Just the drug mod? He must be very entertaining. I have to look that up. Um, I mean, for me, the the monetization of mods and stuff, and basically monetization of a hobby has come up before. I was always a little bit resistant to even accept donations. When I did, I explicitly went to Ko-fi instead of or Ko-fi or however you pronounce it instead of Patreon, just because at that time they just only had like one-time gifts, and Patreon only had like the subscription kind of model where you give monthly and stuff, and I just didn't feel like um, I didn't want to feel like this was an obligation. Like people were paying me to do this, and I had to produce every month. That's probably a good thing because as we've been over, I haven't produced since October, November. Um, so yeah, then I would feel horrible about that, and I want to give people their money back or something. So if it's just a one-time donation, and everybody's clear, like this is you appreciate what I'm doing, that's great. Yeah, I mean, if you want to give me money for that, who am I to stop you? But I don't really want to get like a subscription money or something. That changes a little bit. Yeah, that changes a little bit when you're looking at like Twitch streaming. So people can subscribe to me. I would don't do it because I have no idea if I'm going to keep this up. I like it so far, but I mean, yeah, I've been known to drop things in the past, so I have no idea if I will still be doing this next month or in a couple of months from now. But yeah, I mean, then yeah, I'm a little bit more okay with that, I guess. I mean, obviously, the thought has passed your mind, like that people might actually pay you enough to make this into a real job where you just play around, mod a little bit, and get paid enough for that to actually pay the bills and keep my fiance happy and stuff. But I mean, that's probably a pipe dream. Um, and I don't think I want that. To be honest, I don't think that would make me happy. But for now, I'm just happy modding again and streaming it a little bit. Right, manager. We should now have an option in the livestock tab. um, to unassigned training. There we go. Unassigned training. And it is not translated. I thought the pull request had a translation. What's going on? Ah, you forgot the tip. Right. Yeah, we can add that. That's not a problem. It's been ages since I did this. Assign thread. There we go. Just add a tip for that. And we shall call this. Unassign training targets animals. That's terrible, but yeah, we'll do. Yeah, I'm trying to really make sure that I've got tooltips for everything, because I've noticed also from watching Quill and people playing around with my mods that sometimes what is obvious to me is not obvious to other people. So try and make everything clear, like add descriptive tooltips to things. In these kind of jobs, I'm adding like tooltips to say like, okay, this is a bit dangerous, because I kept getting people who were saying like, yeah, I'm getting hiccups when I use Colony Manager, and then you ask them like, okay, what kind of jobs are you using? And say like, yeah, I have a hunting job, and I've like enabled all of these options with the stopwatch. And it's like, yeah, that makes it quite heavy. And it's like, how often are you running that job? Yeah, every hour. Yeah, but that's a lot. You generally don't need that. I mean, it defaults now to 8 hours. You can even set it to daily if you have a large enough margin. Anyway, you need to make that clear to people, because they don't read. And at least they're still not going to read, so they're still going to complain about it, but then at least you can tell them like I told you so, which makes me feel a little bit better. Anyway, so we've got that now. That's FML unassigned training tip, right? The key is correct. Yeah. So that should sort of work. That works. Let's see if this actually works. So we've got a bunch of chickens. Can we assign chickens to do any training at all? They're tame, and that's about as good as it gets. Right, let's get a different animal to test this on. Spawn. Let's spawn us some dogs. What kind of dogs have we got? Come on. Why can't I find any dogs? I'm used to playing with mods that give more dogs. I should be able to find a dog. Why can I not find a damn dog? There we go. That'll do. That'll do. set the manager, we take a job for Labradors, and we unassign training. We have no training assigned here, so now the manager should actively unassign them. Let's set it to every hour because we want to test this. Plop down a manager's table. And make sure we actually have a manager. Somebody gonna do that or what? Alright, so that happened. And now the animals should have no training anymore. Brilliant. Perfect. Good. Oh, and it actually also removed tamers, which is interesting. Okay. Sounds like I'm gonna shoot them. What? People that undereat? I wouldn't dream of it. No. No, I always try to be very cautious and professional in Steam chat. What do you call it? The comments. It helps. I've had one or two people like, right. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, no. Like in general on Steam, people have been so positive and just kind and amazing sometimes. But it's really nice. I mean, you hear sometimes that the Steam community is hostile and toxic, but I haven't noticed that. I mean, I just try and stay positive and professional, and people seem to respond to that, usually. Like, own up to your mistakes, apologize when you fucked it up, and yeah, seems to go alright. Anyway, that's worked. So we should be able to push changes to that. I have no idea because we're now on a remote branch that I don't have push access to, I think. But maybe because it's a copy of mine thing, that might actually work. Let's find out. Fix the tip translation, and what else have we done? That's it, right? Yeah, that's it. I think this is going to tell me that I'm not allowed to do that. I have no idea how this Git workflow works, to be honest. Like, who am I actually pushing to now? Is it like to the pull request on my copy, or is it to their branch, or we'll find out soon enough. It's doing something. Alright, that seems to work. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just the RimWorld community that's better than that or something. I've also heard people say that the RimWorld Reddit is much better than some other games, and it's mostly because RimWorld is not multiplayer or competitive at all, and so people don't feel the need to complain too much about it, or to one up on each other and that kind of stuff. There's no Git good or something. Yeah, apparently, I checked out his pull request. So that's a branch, and then apparently I can push to that. I have no idea. This is confusing me as well. Let's see what's actually happening here. Yeah, I mean, this is on his. I mean, it will probably show up in the pull request. Yeah. This is just brilliant always. So now we've got conflicts. And that's because This is kind of because of my release script, because that's changed the about and readme and the DLL, which is just silly because I don't give a shit about those. I'm just gonna regenerate them anyway. So that also means that I can just accept them, right? I'm so terrible at this. Yeah, I've already done that. Yeah. Have you? I mean, I do have a medical tab as well, Goblin, which I've spent quite a bit of time on. But yeah, I did several passes for the colony manager UI, and it used to be a mess of different things, and then I took, I think on Christmas or something, I took a week to just redo everything with one set of, yeah, basically like utility layout functions, and so that everything looks the same. Yeah, I sort of probably put it in there at Elf. I kind of assumed that not many people were looking, so I broke the rules and just posted it in modding in general. Because I was like, yeah, I actually want people to come in. But yeah, I should probably put it in there. I will put it in there. I need admin, or I think I need a role for that though. I'm not sure if I have that one, but we'll look at it later. Yeah, right? We're special. I mean, it's not like I'm spamming it. I'm just sending one message, and it's yeah. I felt that should be okay. I was expecting many to ban me on the spot, though, to be honest. But he even dropped in for a little bit. Anyway, so I should just be able to do this on the command line then. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so I'm on the branch now. So then I check out master. Then I git merge, no FF it said. I just follow the instructions to the letter. And then the marks thingy. And that should autocomplete. How many marks do I have? Oh wow, he's done a lot of them. This was at unassigned setting 2, 3? 2. What is 3 then? Wait, there's another one? Yeah. It's interesting that everybody seems to have migrated to the actual RimWorld Discord now. It used to be that the modding RimWorld Discord that was first was much more lively than or at least from a modding perspective. But I guess, yeah, all of the new modders went to the new Discord, and then at some point most of the old, yeah. But I mean, it's, yeah. I mean, I haven't been there in ages, but it's not exactly busy there, is it? The RimWorld Mod 1. No, we shouldn't do that. Yeah, I guess there's some stuff going on, but I mean, this is November 2019. The modding and coding stuff. It's yeah, the old school people. When we just want to talk to old school people, older old school people, I guess. I mean, this is going a lot faster. Hard to keep up, actually. So many new mods. Pretty cool, but wow. Yeah. Anyway, too much to keep up with. People aren't supposed to know about it. Is that true? I mean, we've been posting about it on the forums in the past. But yeah, it is invite only. Anyway, so we have at unassigned setting 2 and 3. So now I'm curious what the 3 is. Am I missing something here? So this is 2. Do we have a different pull request for 3? I'm not seeing it. Can I? Oh, that just filters those. Yeah, sure. Why can I not open that branch now? There we go. So what is this? Add husbandry job option. So that's all still the same. That's the same. Nothing has changed here. I guess we'll run into it at some point. Was he? Okay. I didn't realize that. I know that he kind of left at some point. He was not very active anymore. I think he moved or something. I was very happy with him. He's one of my original mentors, I guess. There was Lata, which was who helped me out originally, and E, and yeah, Scotty Wack did some stuff. I mean, I started with not knowing C# at all, and started adding in some cats, and then slowly adding stuff to that, and then starting going into the UI stuff, and yeah, only modding. Anyway, we should be able to just take 2. Unassigned setting 2. Right. So now we've got several conflicts, and that's in README, DLL, and about. So all of those get regenerated when I update the mod anyway. So there's none of this matters. So let's just merge them as is. They'll be garbage, but whatever. So this is clean now, right? Yes, okay. And then I can just do mod update. Ooh. Yeah. It does try to read the about. So I need to fix that. So yeah, this is the problem. That's it. Unassigned. Why am I doing this? This is an auto-generated file, so whatever I do there, it just goes away. I need to do it in the source. So we're looking at mod config, actually work. And you are Marks. It's one and the same. Why is that not working? I used to have 2 accounts, personal and a modding account. I've kind of given up on that. So, I mean, my name is Karel Koersen. Hi. That's my personal email. That would have been very easy to figure out on your own, so I don't really care about it anymore. Besides, I've got my face on Twitch now, so it's not like my name is going to be very perfect. Anyway, I was just going to because I think if I regenerate it now, yeah, it adds Chris Luark back, which is not really what I want, because it's taking too much information from GitHub basically, because this is probably this guy's real name, but that's not necessarily what you want to have. Like, he may not be too happy with that. I'm not really sure why it's getting that anyway. It shouldn't be. So how can I see that? Guess I need to look at the log. No, that's not helpful. Is he not in there? Why is he not in there? There we go. Yeah, Goblin, I know. I have the same problem with some other people. There's not terribly much I can do about it, I guess. Try not to delete things I'm not supposed to delete or something. Yeah. So we can add that to the mail map, and then that should work. So that's proper name. So that's proper name. Nice one, extracts. So now, we take mod config, we remove that one, we can update it, and it should not add him again because he's already known. Yep, awesome, great. And let's release that. I should do the other pull request as well, but it's getting late. I have to get to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna call it a day here. I have yet to decide on a schedule. I think as for now, I'm just gonna do this every evening. Probably not for quite as long as I've been doing it tonight. Maybe an hour or two. So yeah, thank you very much for being here. I enjoyed this. This was great. Maybe see you again tomorrow, hopefully. And otherwise, yeah, I'll see you around. Thank you very much. Good night. See ya. I haven't set up keybinds and stuff yet to actually automatically quit the stream and stuff. So, but hey,